Welcome to the Elevate Media Podcast. I'm Chris Anderson, your host. I'm looking forward to diving into today's episode and giving you a little bit more direction so you can elevate your business, elevate your life, and make a difference in the world. If you like anything you hear today, make sure you share it along, make a difference in someone else's life. And if you do like something, make sure to go to Apple Podcasts and rate, review, and subscribe. It makes a whole world of a difference for us here at the podcast to continue to do this, to bring great guests, great information to you so you can elevate your business, elevate your brand, elevate your life, and take big steps moving forward. Thanks again, and let's dive into the episode. Today, I'm going to dive into how do you record remotely? What if your guest isn't in the room with you? How do you record an episode with someone across the country, across the world? So I'm going to break that down, talk to you through how to do that. So when you have a guest come on, if you're doing guests or if you're going to be a guest on a show, you will have some idea how to do it virtually. So let's dive into it. So there's really 4 things that you have to worry about when recording a episode virtually. The last one is very important. So make sure you listen in to the very end, because if you don't do that last one, well, you might as well not do it. So we're going to dive into these 4. The first one being you need to make sure you have a platform that can record your audio and video on with a virtual guest. So obviously we're coming off, post-pandemic time where everyone was virtual, it seemed like. So Zoom was the go-to platform to record video, have conference calls, things of that nature. And Zoom is still a viable option. So if you want to use Zoom, if you have a Zoom account, Zoom is it's a good starter platform to record virtual interviews. So you just send the link and they hop on and you're good to go. And it supports obviously video and audio as well. Zoom is obviously one everyone's heard of and everyone knows of. Now, there are many options out there. Riverside, Google Teams, Google Meetup, things of that nature. What I'm recording on right now is StreamYard. And what I like about StreamYard is things like this. If you're watching the video, and these are just examples, you can put up things on the screen as you're talking. If someone is watching live, if you do a live with StreamYard, you can bring their comment on, like that example. Again, these are just StreamYard examples. So StreamYard is a good platform if you want to do live streams as well. So say if I wanted to record this episode live talking to LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or Twitch or wherever, or all of them at once, I can do that. You just have to weigh the pros and cons of each platform and what you want from that system. So I wanted something very high professional, very tailored to my brand, things that you can do on the screen, like different overlays, things of that nature. You can change those around. You can change those around and put different things on the screen. You can do countdowns. You can do different backgrounds and things that you can share your screen and show things on the screen as well. So you just got to look at them all from your perspective. If you're just recording video and audio and you're not wanting to do any other branding or fancy things, Zoom, Riverside probably be okay for you. But if you're wanting to get into, more technical, bigger ability to do things as far as branding, as far as, the template, the overlay, the backgrounds, the intro video, the outro video, the sounds, the, live stream capability, then StreamYard might be something you want to go with. I'll put a link down below or in the show description so you can check out StreamYard. And again, check that out. Make a decision for yourself. We like StreamYard because of the ease of use, professionalism, and the ability to tailor it towards our brand and do a lot of really cool things while we are recording or going live. So that's the first thing. You've got to choose a platform that you're going to record your episodes, your interviews on, find what's best for you, and then implement it into your guest acquisition or episode creation system. And one thing to know with these online platforms, make sure you have really good, stable internet. That's another reason we like StreamYard, is because you can individually record. So say the host audio and video and the guest. So if there's any instability within the networks, that takes some of it away and allows you to get better recordings each time. But if you don't have a good internet connection, you're going to get, the lag, the choppiness, things of that nature. So make sure you have a good internet connection with whatever platform you choose. I have a Google Home, I think Google Nest, whatever they are, where you have the different ones throughout the house. One of them's right here on the desk to try to mitigate any of that issue. So again, that's something to think about, and make sure you have a good quality audio source. I hit on that a lot because audio matters even on video, probably more so starting out than your video quality actually does, because you want it to sound good. You don't want some, echoey, high reverb type sound, because people are going to hear that and they're going to run away. Then they're going to watch. If your sound's good, then the next thing is video and improving that through your camera, your background, your lighting, things of that nature. So those are things to think about as well when you're thinking about your video platform that you're using, because they all correlate. The second is, these platforms, most of them record for you, but do you need any other interface to record through? This mic that I'm using records, straight through StreamYard. So the file's there. Some setups, like if you're using a mixer or a different soundboard like the Rodecaster Pro, which sometimes we use, it records it specifically. And then your video is recorded, either on your camera like I'm using or straight to the system. So making sure you understand that. Do you need OBS? Do you need QuickTime? Do you need Camtasia? Do you need something else to be able to facilitate the recording of your audio or video? If you're using Zoom, Riverside, StreamYard, you can just plug everything to your computer and it will record everything to your computer. It's when you start mixing in soundboards, multiple cameras, live streaming, things of that nature, like full production that we do, that's when you have to start thinking about those. But those are some options as well. Or if you're doing, multiple virtual people. So think about that. How are you going to actually be able to record everything? Again, most of these online platforms will record straight through your computer. And then what we do at Elevate Media and what we tell our clients to do, or we guide our clients in doing, is when you have a guest coming on, sending out a pre-recording email, reminding them, giving them the link, and then giving them some instructions. So about basically using the link, getting on there early, make sure everything's set up okay, everything's connected all right. Because, for example, when you get on StreamYard for the first time, you have to allow access. It'll come up saying allow access to your camera and to your microphone. So you have to allow access. You have to use a Chrome browser with StreamYard. You can't use Safari, things like that. So if you can send these instructions ahead of time for whatever recording system software you're using, they can hopefully get some of those little kinks out of the system before the day of recording, so they're not running around trying to restart their computer or get things hooked up. They've already walked through those steps to make sure everything is working and running well, just to have a smoother process. So you want to make sure all that's checked, make sure, and again, this is like a pre-interview type questions. Are you set up for video? Do you have examples of what you've done for video? Or if you've been on other shows, etc., things like that. So you can see, like, what does their setup look like? What do they look like on camera? How do they sound on their recordings? Because, as you get going, you're not just going to want to accept everyone onto your show. The quality is going to have to match what you put out there. Unfortunately, that's part of it. And so, when I started out, my stuff was terrible. My quality and everything was terrible. So I was thankful for whoever was going to be on. And as we've grown and been able to improve and implement new things virtually, and now we're doing in person, so it's a whole different atmosphere, ball game. Like, we're a little bit more picky, I guess you could say, because we want, put out the best content for those listening. So just things you got to think about is giving them, instruction on how to make sure everything's working, what they need to have ready so you can have the best recording possible before edits, and put the best content out there for your audience, because at the end of the day, that's what matters. So sometimes you have to say no to someone because it's not going to serve your audience best. All right, and now this is a big one. This is the one that is so important, so crucial, that you definitely don't want to forget this one, and you've got to make sure you write this down because it's huge. Are you ready? This is the big one. Hit record. You think, well, duh, but there's been so many times, so many horror stories I've heard. Thankfully, knock on some wood, I haven't had that yet. After 200 something episodes, people forget to hit record. So they have this great interview, amazing conversation, and they don't have the files because they forgot to hit record on Zoom, on Riverside, on Streamer, or whatever it is, and they thought they were recording, and at the end they realized they did not record, and they have no audio or video files at all to use. So then it's the moment of humility where you have to tell your guests, oh my goodness, I did not hit record. That sucks. I am so sorry that I just wasted, whatever amount of time of yours. It was a great conversation. Loved it. Can we reschedule? Can we do this again? And it happens to the best of us. You just have to kind of take it with your head held high and be humbled and hope that your guests will be okay rescheduling. But don't forget to hit record. Don't forget to hit record. Don't forget to hit record. When I started, and this may be why I thankfully haven't had that issue, is when I first started, when I was like trying to figure it all out, I put a sticky note on the edge of the monitor, the edge of the screen saying hit record to remind myself, because I did not want that to happen. I did not want to forget to hit record. So if you have to do that, you have to put a reminder, do it, do something like that, but don't forget to hit record. And that's another thing too. If you're not going live once you hit record, it could be something where you tell your guests like, hey, there's technical difficulties. If something happens, if we need to take a break, if you're doing a longer episode, like this is not live. So like if we need to take a break, let's just pause and come back. If you need a restroom or get a drink, and we can start again. So make sure you communicate that with your guest. Communicate like if it's going to be live. Like we've had some live episodes. Hey, are you okay with this going live? Are you okay doing this live? Oh yeah, that's completely okay. All right. And just make sure there's nothing going to be, jumping on the screen or jumping on your desk animal wise, that's going to interrupt anything. So just communication. And if they say, hey, probably not best to do live, no problem. So that's another thing to think about when you're recording. And then of course, after you're done, you just, either you edit it or you send it to your team or you send it to us, our agency, to edit it for you and break it down into micro video content so you can push out there. But yeah, that's how you record virtually. It's really not rocket science. There are a little bit ins and outs, and you'll get the hang of it as you continue you'll get a system in place. You'll have those templated emails ready. You'll have all that ready. So if you're just starting out, it's going to seem overwhelming. Just take it one piece at a time. First thing is, connecting with someone, getting them on the show. Great. Okay. What platform I'm going to use? Okay. So where do I get the link to send them? Okay, there it is. What email do I want to send them, a week before with the link, with the instructions? Okay, here's the email. Boom. It's a template now. I just change a few things each time. So now they're on to record. What are the things I need to look for or make sure? Okay, internet's good. All the audio, video is connected, right? I've not forgot to hit record, but I have recorded with the settings. The mic setting chose the Mac, like microphone that's in the computer instead of my microphone here. It had got switched somehow. So I have had that happen a couple times, and that's also terrible. So those are things, again, check everything. Don't rush into it. Take your time, check all those settings, make sure they're good, communicate, hey, this is not live. So if we need to take a break, if something happens, no big deal. Some people are super nervous getting on camera and talking. So like it can kind of ease that. Hey, this isn't a presidential debate. We're just having a conversation. So if something happens, someone rings your doorbell, no sweat. We can just hop right back into it. And then don't forget to hit record, have a great conversation in the recording, and then get it done and get it out there for everybody to hear. You've done a great job. So it's just learning the process. It's just implementing these things, practicing, getting better, finding what works for you, building that system, and then continuing to elevate your brand and elevate what you do. So that's it for today. So if you're starting to interview people virtually, hope these tips helped. Please go like, review, subscribe the show. It helps us just continue to get in front of more people, help more people, and it helps us keep going so we can help more people. And together we can do a lot more. So yeah, it means a lot to us. You go leave us a review, a rating, and we look forward to hearing from you. Until next time, continue to elevate your brand, elevate your life, and we'll talk to you soon. And thanks so much for tuning into this episode today. If you found value at all from this episode, please leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. It just helps us get this show, these messages out in front of more people. And don't forget to share this with someone who you think could benefit from listening to as well.